الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, today we will be presenting about the Abbasid dynasty.
First up, we have how did the Abbasid dynasty achieve power? Where is the capital? Who was their founder? And how long did they prevail? So, Abu Abbas, after his brother Ibrahim died, he took over the caliphate and he changed it from the Umayyad dynasty to the Abbasid dynasty. So he became the founder of this dynasty, and his rule helped make significant strides in this dynasty gaining power after the Umayyad dynasty fell apart. And so originally their capital was Dimashq, but then it got changed to Baghdad, which shifted the power from the center of power of this dynasty from Syria to Iraq. And um, in the research that we were given, it said that the dynasty started in 749, and either it lasted to 1258 or it lasted to 1261.
Now, during their era, the Abbasids had a plethora of achievements. Firstly, the Abbasids built a large number of hospitals and pharmacies, mainly in Baghdad, including the hospital built by al-Rashid on the west side of Baghdad. Harun, who's a prominent figure in Abbasid history, who we'll be talking about in just a minute, founded Beit al-Hikmah, also known as the House of Wisdom, which prospered during the rule of his son Abdullah al-Ma'mun. And through this, translation of Greek, Persian, and Indian works into Arabic allowed for the development and advances in fields such as medicine, astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy to be created. At this point, Baghdad became the intellectual and cultural capital of the world, with promotion of the arts, crafts, literature, and sciences. The indigenous peoples of the vast area upon which the Abbasid Khilafah was established contributed to the spread of Islam and the social as well as economical developments of the Ummah.
So there were four main Khulafa of the Abbasids. The first one was Abu Abbas as-Saffah, who ruled from 750 to 754, Al-Mansur, who ruled from 754 to 775, Harun al-Rashid, who ruled from 786 to 809, and Al-Ma'mun, who ruled from 813 to 833.
Next, we have a brief biography of Abu Abbas as-Saffah. So Abu Abbas as-Saffah was the founder of the of the Abbasid dynasty after the Umayyad dynasty fell apart when his brother died. And so he was the first Khalifa of this empire, and he ruled from 750 to 754. And even though he only ruled for these short 4 years, he played a very important role in establishing the foundation of this dynasty, which ended up lasting over 500 years. And his nickname, as-Safah, which means blood shedder, comes from the harsh methods and the violence he used when he was establishing the Abbasid dynasty and dealing with the remnants of the Umayyads.
So now we're going to talk about a brief bio of Harun al-Rashid. So he was born in 766 to Khalif al-Mahdi and al-Khayzuran. And in 782 he became the leader of the military campaign against the Byzantine Empire, but a peace treaty was signed on some terms. So after this peace treaty, Harun received the honor title of al-Rashid, and he was named second in succession of the Khalif throne. He also became the governor of Tunisia, Egypt, Syria, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. In 786, Harun's brother dies, and he becomes the Khalifa, and Yahya Burmakid is made Grand Vizier. And on the year 789, Al-Khayzuran dies, which leaves more power with Harun.
So when Al-Khayzuran dies, a lot more power is left with Harun, and that's because when his brother died and he became the Khalifa, his mom was suspected of having something to do with his brother's death, and she took control and had a lot of influence over the politics and what was going on in the Abbasid dynasty. But then when she dies in 789, the power that she had like taken control of and the influence that she had, it was now shifted to Harun, and Harun had much more effective power over the dynasty.
So after Al-Khizran dies in 791, Harun wages war against the Byzantine Empire. After that, in 800, Harun appoints Ibrahim bin al-Ghalab governor over Tunisia, which made him a ruler in return for yearly payments. In 803, Yahya dies, which gives more power to Harun. So in 807, Harun's forces occupy Cyprus, and in 809, he dies while traveling the eastern parts of his temples.
During the Abbasid era, Islam spread not mainly through war, but through learning, culture, and good leadership. The Abbasids ruled over many different people. These people helped spread Islam by living peacefully under Islamic rule and taking part in the religion's growth. They were allowed to keep their own cultures as long as they didn't go against Islam, which made them more accepting of Islamic rule. At the same time, religious scholars became more powerful and taught people about Islam. Because the Abbasid rulers supported knowledge, big libraries and schools like the House of Wisdom were built. Important books from other cultures were translated into Arabic, which helped Islamic knowledge grow and reach other parts of the world. Leaders like Harun al-Rashid also built things like hospitals and water canals for pilgrims. This showed that Islam was not just a religion, but a way of caring for people.
Now we have the causes of why the Abbasid dynasty declined and eventually fell apart. First off, we have that originally with like for example the founder Abu Abbas, who was born in 722 and eventually died in 754, which is when his rule ended. He had like a lot of power. He had power over like the entire dynasty essentially, and that kept on going for the first khalifas. But eventually, as time went on, they just became ceremonial rulers, and they didn't actually have most of the power because the power ended up going to the military and the scholars. So the Abbas the Khalifas, they didn't really have control over most of the dynasty, and so because of that, the power started to decline.
But even further than that, the cultural and intellectual life flourished during this decentralized period. But and Harun al-Rashid's reign marked the peak of Abbasid power. However, his death signaled the beginning of the dynasty's decline.
Lessons that we can learn is conflicts and not having a strong unity can weaken the community and the Muslim Ummah. Education and growth is very important for the development of Muslim communities. Our ideas and our values have direct influence on our lives and other lives in our communities. And embracing diversity can strengthen cultural and intellectual growth in our community.
So now we have maps showing the Abbasid Caliphate and the dynasty, and the overall one shows how they were in 800, with showing them with Syria, Egypt, Oman, Yemen, and a bunch of other country names that don't exist nowadays. But it just shows like how big they expanded, even though they only started less than 50 years before that, or they only started like around 50 to 70 years before that. And the map in the bottom shows a little bit after 800, and it shows that they continue to expand onwards past this point. Go on, gang. Yo, Shaib. Shaib, next slide, bro.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
سبحانك
سبحانك اللهم
اللهم
وبحمدك
وبحمدك
نشهد
نشهد
أن
أن
لا
لا
إله
إله إلا
إلا
أنت
أنت نستغفرك
نستغفرك
ونتوب
ونتوب
إليك.
إليك.
السلام عليكم.